These two guys have Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
It's a scoop session on this Tuesday here with our friend Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department. We might mix. It's not Reckless Speculation Thursday, but you know we're always good for a little reckless speculation, Dukes. Tons of Viking stuff to get to today. How are you?
I'm doing well, Judd. I hope you had a wonderful birthday yesterday.
Oh, did you forget to wish him yesterday, Dukes?
No, I didn't.
Accidental text.
Okay.
He did. Thank you very much. You know what?
Yeah.
Monday night, 54. Very sedate. Dawn cooked. It was outstanding. It's all I can ask for.
Sedate.
She made a delicious dinner. That is, you know what? At 54, I'll take that. It's an outstanding birthday. So thank you, Dukes. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very nice. Hopefully there was some good dessert as well.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about like the belated when someone forgets your birthday and they come back like a day later or two and say, "Hey, sorry."
Don't wish me happy
I feel
birthday.
like if the
Don't wish me
moment's
happy birthday.
gone, I'm not like holding the grudge. You don't have to make it weird by, coming back 48 hours later.
Well, this reminds me of a great Larry David skit from Curb Your Enthusiasm. Like, how long, like, what's the threshold on wishing somebody a Happy New Year? Like, if it's January 8th, can you wish somebody a Happy New Year?
Mm-mm. Nope.
It's a little
Past
late.
the threshold.
That's a little late.
I don't
No.
know.
Like, one day, I think I'm okay one day on the birthday, right? Like, if I wasn't on Facebook, God bless Facebook, right, with the birthdays. I mean,
Yeah,
without Facebook,
'cause they
I'm not
remind
sure I would
you.
remember, anybody's birthday, right?
I
mean,
wouldn't.
Maybe my wife, although, heck, I might forget hers, right? But, like, without Facebook, I wouldn't know anybody's birthday. Like, with all due respect, Judd, I think I saw it on Facebook, or maybe somebody alerted me that it was your birthday. It's not like I just knew, hey, Judd Zolgad's birthday is November 13th. It's not like I knew that top of my head. So I'm just saying, if, like, I'm not on Facebook, like, give me a day or two. So I think I'm okay within 24 to 48 hours
you're
on the
fine.
belated birthday wishes.
By 54, I don't care. So
You don't care anymore. Yeah.
Don't be
just
concerned
save it for next year. Okay, let's talk some Vikings here, Doogie. Let's start with the signing of Anthony Barr and what it signals here. So Jordan Hicks he was hospitalized yesterday for sure overnight from Sunday with compartment syndrome, which is sort of the inflammation of bruising. It's like where the bruising and the swelling gets to be like more than usual. So Vikings bring back a familiar face who's just been kind of waiting for a phone call since he left Dallas after last year.
Yeah, Anthony Barr is back. I mean, he received some phone calls. Like, he took a visit in August to New Orleans. He also visited the Giants. Heck, he was in Philadelphia earlier this week. I don't know if the Eagles were ready to sign him or not, but the Vikings said, hey, come on over. We will add you to the practice squad. So I don't know if this means, like, okay, November 27th, Anthony Barr getting all these snaps against the Bears. Like, he's not playing on Sunday against Denver. I think this what it signals is, well, Jordan Hicks is not going to be available for a while. Like, you can't plan on him against Denver or Chicago. Okay, then bye week. Let's then revisit after the bye week. But, like, Jordan Hicks isn't playing anytime real soon. I guess we can address the idea of potentially an IR stint, but he's not playing the next 2 games, right? So you needed somebody for depth's sake. You have Brian Asamoah, who's battling an injury. I'm told this morning he is 50-50. Ivan Pace Jr. had the green dot in the preseason. Ivan Pace Jr., I expect to see him on the field a good amount. Like we have the last couple of weeks. In fact, the snap count has gone up the last couple of weeks after dipping middle of the season. But Ivan Pace Jr. trending to be the guy with the green dot Sunday night in Denver. Then you've got Josh Metellus, who has been playing a lot of linebacker. Like, a lot of people view him as a safety. He's not a safety. I had a nice conversation with Josh the other day in the locker room. I'm doing a feature story on Josh for the Monday Night Football pregame show before the Bears game. As of now, we've not been told that game has been flexed out. So it's full steam ahead, presuming Vikings-Bears is Monday night, November 27th, not being moved to Sunday, November 26th. I'm working on this big feature story TV-wise on Josh Metellus. I mean, he reminded me, I'm a football player. I'm not a safety. Like, I play a lot of linebacker. So I think we'll see some sets on Sunday where it's Ivan Pace Jr., Josh Metellus. Then you have either the third corner or the third safety. But, yeah, in the short term, Jordan Hicks, he's going to be missed a ton. Remember, he took the pay cut. Good thing he did. Jordan Hicks having a really, really good year. It was an innocuous hit. I put the video up on my Twitter on Monday night. I mean, Cam Bynum, he's making the tackle. Jordan Hicks is. Bynum comes over, a little bit of a leg whip. Like, you see that play happen all the time. Just a reminder of just how crazy, how violent the sport of football is. But in the moment, it looked pretty innocuous. But good thing that the Vikings acted quickly. Although he went back into the game because he felt okay, but post-game, the swelling was out of control. They knew right away, hey, let's get him to the hospital, undergoes a procedure. He tweeted this morning a photo of himself in a hospital bed saying that he's doing well. But I'm just saying, when talking about Hicks being back in the football field, it's not going to be anytime soon. But thankfully, he's doing okay.
So on Hicks as well, so he got hurt on the innocuous play that you talked about, Doogie. He stayed in for another play. He actually was slow to get up after that play, which I was like, when did he get hurt? Because it was a nothing tackle. And he went to the sideline. The trainers were there, like he was trying to politic to go back in, and it looked like they were telling him that was not a great idea. He did go back in, and I think that's where it got worse. But don't forget too. And I don't know what the plan is with the full week of preparation with Brian Flores, but Troy Dye also played 16 snaps as well. And so Troy Dye could play too. But credit to Hicks. I never thought I would say at any point going into the season that the loss of Jordan Hicks is big, but this is that he's done a ton there. Like, of all the linebackers that you don't want to lose, and I know Pace has been a great story, I think Hicks is atop that list. So credit to him. Brian Flores has taken him from a guy that I perceived a year ago to be pretty unproductive and aging and didn't look great to a guy who has played a huge role. So he will be missed, but I'm curious if Troy Dye will see some more time as well.
Yeah, I think he will. Ivan Pace Jr., Phil, you probably have the PFF numbers. Ivan Pace Jr. against the pass, don't know how much you can trust him. Against the run, blitzing, yes. I'm almost thinking, would it make some sense to have Josh Metellus have the green dot, not Ivan Pace Jr.? Even though Ivan Pace Jr. had it in the preseason, it worked fine. Would it make some sense to have Metellus wear the green dot? You can bring Dye in for Ivan Pace Jr. in certain situations, passing downs, right? So, yeah, I imagine Troy Dye will be on the field on Sunday.
Yeah, I do. Just so Pace, his snaps have he was playing, I think, heavier snaps early in the season, and now they've kind of transitioned more to like just having three safeties on the field and one linebacker more often. But Pace is currently let's see here, of players who played at least 100 snaps, the fifth highest graded defensive player on the Vikings. And he has gotten a little bit better according to PFF in coverage. So I think they trust him to go out there. I don't know if they're going to put him out there they'll probably split snaps. I don't think they want him out there necessarily for 70 snaps, but we shall see. Justin Jefferson, what's the update there?
Yeah, so on Saturday, he was running sprints at TCO Performance Center. On Monday, he again was running sprints. My understanding is he has not said that there's been any discomfort. The next step would be some aggressive cutting, but it's certainly trending in the direction of Jefferson being back on Sunday. If not Sunday, then the Bears game, right? Like, it's what I've been saying. He's not going to come back after the bye. Like, it's trending toward, unless there's a setback, which, hey, hamstring injury, tricky injury, it's possible, but it's always trended toward him being back in November. But he is ramping up his activity. I don't want to be too aggressive here 5 days out on Tuesday, but I'm just saying Justin Jefferson doing very well. Didn't report any sort of symptoms, any sort of setback after running a bunch of sprints on Monday afternoon. So if he continues to trend in the right direction, we absolutely could see Jefferson back on the field on Sunday night.
And when he comes back too, I'm going to be really curious to see his use, just as far as what this means, because I think the one positive beyond the 4 wins is Mattison has stepped up huge. And so we thought he was a really good receiver, but that catch, again, that was an incompletion because the ball didn't survive the ground on Sunday, was an unbelievable toe tap. So for O'Connell and Dobbs, and with Dobbs being a threat to run, this could be really interesting to see what putting one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver back in the game can do as far as the alternatives now because of Dobbs' legs as well, Dukes.
Well, does it create even that much more space for TJ Hockenson? Remember early in the year, Hockenson just didn't have a whole lot of space from a scheme standpoint, a route running standpoint. TJ Hockenson has elevated his game plenty the last few weeks. So Jefferson back on the field. Does that even open up more space for Hockenson? KJ Osborne trending in the right direction. He was trending in the right direction last week on Friday. He was out of the concussion protocol, but still reported some symptoms. You don't want to mess with a brain injury, so they held him out on Sunday, but I would not be shocked if KJ Osborne is back as well. So that just opens up all sorts of different possibilities.
Yeah, we were with Alex Boone yesterday on Purple Daily, our Trenches episode, just breaking down some of the highlighted offensive plays. And it was really interesting. Sometimes you think when you're watching on TV, oh, Josh Dobbs is scrambling here. I wonder if he missed a read somewhere or if there was actually no one open. And on the 2 or 3 times we looked at it and we did the wide angle and Boone's like, there's no one open. It's not like he's staring out at the field and not knowing how to go through his progressions. It's just he's going through his progressions, boom, first read, second read, third read. So I think having Jefferson out there probably changes some of those plays. Not probably. It does change some of those plays so that, you're not going to have 4 guys covered. I mean, I like Powell, but, Powell's not an every snap wide receiver that, gets separation. So we'll see. Now, is Dobbs going to feel obligated to stick on Jefferson as opposed to moving around? We'll have to see how that dynamic works out, but adding him back in should only help Joshua Dobbs. Obvious take of the show here.
The other optimistic injury news, Alexander Mattison in the concussion protocol, but doing well. Now, for the aggregator's sake, I'm not going to declare here 5 days out. Mattison 100% is playing on Sunday in Denver, but he absolutely is doing well. Put it this way. Do not rule out Alexander Mattison 5 days out. So even though he's in the protocol, we saw it a few weeks ago, heck, with Brock Purdy, right? In the protocol early in the week, ended up playing that next game. So it is looking good today on the Alexander Mattison front.
Hey, Dukes, from your spies inside TCO, tell me this. What have you heard about Ty Chandler? And he stepped in on Sunday, and I know that at the end of the day, the average gain was not great, in part because they telegraphed runs in the second half. But he made some nice runs too, and there's a burst there. Do you feel like he does have advocates in the building? Because it certainly seems to me that no matter what his deficiencies are, when he has the ball in his hands, it's far more of a threat than when Alexander Mattison does.
Yeah, I mean, even the touchdown run, I get it, called back, but you saw the burst, right? So, yes, he does have advocates in TCO Performance Center, right? But there's a reason why they brought in Cam Akers previously, right? But, yes, I mean, Ty Chandler is going to get more and more touches as the year goes on because you can just see it. When he hits that hole, when he has a chance to hit that hole, there is a burst that, with all due respect to Alexander Mattison, he doesn't have. So, yes, I mean, amen, Judd, him having advocates, yes. I mean, I don't know if it's been universal. I think it's more so now compared to 3 or 4 months ago. But yes, I foresee Ty Chandler touching the ball more and more as the year goes on.
I would also think, too, this is his second year. Like most rookie running backs aren't trustworthy in pass protection because there's so many different variables and things you have to read, as Boone has pointed out to us. Okay, now he's halfway through his second season. He's got in the offseason. He could just be getting better at pass protection at some point too. Like throw him in there and see what happens for 15 or 20 snaps. If it's a train wreck, okay, then see. The problem with having CJ Ham on the field on third down all the time is if you have to throw him the ball, he's not getting you 12 yards unless it's just a wide open situation. So here's another guy that I'd love to ask you about, Doogie. Marcus Davenport apparently underwent a procedure for his high ankle sprain. Is he coming back this season? DJ Wanham has 6 sacks, but he's not exactly lighting it up in terms of pressures on a regular basis. The only real organic pressure generator is Danielle Hunter. Otherwise, the pressures that the Vikings get are usually because of the blitzing scheme. It'd be nice to get some more organic pressure so you could drop guys into coverage, and Marcus Davenport's probably your best hope. Does he come back?
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings, Phil, are anticipating Marcus Davenport returning this year. Now, they could open up the practice window this week. He would be eligible for that to happen. That is not going to happen. They are not opening the practice window this week. You're not going to see Marcus Davenport anytime this month. Is it possible he's back, maybe more so for the Bengals game or the Lions game on Christmas Eve? yeah, I would look in that time frame, not necessarily the Raiders game, but let's wait and see. Certainly not Broncos game or Bears game. He is still in that walking boot. So, he takes the boot off for rehab, but as he's moving about, in the locker room, throughout the facility, he is wearing that boot on his left foot. So, yeah, high ankle sprain. I mean, the initial diagnosis of the high ankle sprain, we were looking at closer to 6 to 7-ish to 8 weeks, not 4 to 5, even though I think it was reported 4 to 6. It was always going to be more so 6, 7, 8. So we're looking at sometime in December, but certainly not from the Vikings' point of view, Phil, a season-ending injury. They do anticipate him being back this year.
Where do things stand with Jaren Hall coming back from concussion protocol? Because I'm going to tell you, the one thing that made me very nervous on Sunday was looking down on the home sideline and seeing number 19 in purple. God bless him. Sean Mannion probably has a future as a coach, but it was like, if he has to go in this game, this team is absolutely screwed. So is Jaren Hall close to being cleared? Because I would take it that he will go instantly back in as the backup once he's healthy.
Yeah, he's good to go, or he will be good to go. Yes. I mean, it's trending in that direction. I mean, unless there's some sort of setback, but yes, it is trending in that direction. The Nick Mullens practice window is opening. So it's what we talked about a few weeks ago, that this wasn't some sort of season-ending injury, the back injury, some sort of long-term type injury, that, the New Orleans game was always going to be way too aggressive. Even the Denver game was going to be aggressive just in terms of lack of practice reps. But then Nick Mullens was trending in the right direction. So look for him to be back on the practice field this week. So that's another possibility. I think maybe for Denver, we're looking at Jaren, not Nick. But maybe as soon as that Bears game, maybe Nick is the number 2.
By the way, breaking NFL news here. Doesn't really pertain much to the Vikings, but it's interesting. After last night's train wreck, Buffalo losing to the Broncos, Ken Dorsey, the offensive coordinator for the Bills, is the scapegoat from this embarrassment. He has been fired.
And Stephon Diggs, shockingly, his brother is now tweeting that Stephon has to get out of Buffalo. You know whose fault it never is? Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, it's about 4 years in, 3 years in, and Stephon's like, I'm out of here. Get me the bleep out of here.
You know what last night was a reminder of, maybe on the national TV spotlight, that as uber talented as Josh Allen is, you still need the guys around you, right? And maybe that points to Josh Dobbs, right? It's not like he was any sort of train wreck in Arizona, but if you look at the win-loss record, 1-7 or 1-8. Yes, from that standpoint, he was. But he just didn't have the guys around him. He's got the guys around him here, including a very, very smart head coach.
Yeah.
I think the thing, too, though, is this, and O'Connell has translated super well. But I think what it shows, too, is Josh Allen had his best years with Brian Daboll as his OC. And, I think we all assume that quarterbacks are going to graduate to where they get to just through maturation, right? I think what this shows is, again, coaching becomes incredibly important. And because, since Daboll took the Giants job, Josh Allen has not looked the same because his main deficiency is he's careless with the football. Daboll seemed to cut that back to where it worked out, right? So, again, I think you got to go back to the importance of having, especially for a quarterback, the right coach who's going to help you succeed, which is why I don't think that you can just take that. This whole thing now is, well, if Dobbs had got traded, the Jets have to be super mad. And this team has to be really mad that they didn't get. Don't assume that Joshua Dobbs was just going to go to any other team and have the success that Kevin O'Connell is getting from Dobbs. I think that this relationship is a big part of the story.
Absolutely it is. Yes. The Browns were the other team. The Jets weren't even interested in trading for Dobbs. The Browns had some interest in bringing him back, but not, all sorts of interest where, it's not like the Vikings gave up much for Dobbs. But yeah, there is something very strongly to be said about that relationship. KOC, also Wes Phillips, but certainly KOC, but, the assistants as well. But yeah, KOC with Dobbs. Heck, look at Jared Goff in Detroit. Phil, what is he? Top 5 quarterback this year? Or is that a stretch, Jared Goff?
That's top probably it.
I'm not talking overall, but this year.
Statistically, measurements would say for sure top 10. Yes. He's also my guy, 10. Jared Goff. Yeah.
Fine. So Ben Johnson, right? Undoubtedly Ben Johnson will be a head coach somewhere next season, right? You can make a case for the Chargers. I don't think the Raiders make a move on Pierce, but potentially the Raiders. Heck, are we sure Sean McDermott survives in Buffalo? Would Ben Johnson make some sense in Buffalo? You can make a case. My point is you can make a case for the Lions offensive coordinator a bunch of different spots because you look at the success he has had with Jared Goff.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other experiment here, just around the league, it just feels like there's more offensive mad scientists the last 5 or 6 years. You know, Kyle Shanahan showing that you can't just plug anyone in. You know, there's got to be a certain level of competency and athletic ability. But Kyle Shanahan, what Mike McDaniel has done with Tua, who I know he was a high draft pick, but in terms of like projection and tools, I don't think he was projected to put up this type of productivity. What Kevin O'Connell is showing right now too, I don't think it's necessarily a testing ground to see if Josh Dobbs gets a 5-year massive contract. I think it's a testing ground to show, okay, we know what this offense looks like with Kirk Cousins, and we know that Kirk is generally a top 10 to 12 quarterback. Can Kevin O'Connell make somebody else look like a top 12 quarterback? And if he can do it with Josh Dobbs, all of a sudden now you're not going to go back and say, okay, $40 million for Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles, right? Like that's the experiment right now to me.
Yes, although, 2-game sample size, right? We're not making any sort of...
Let's let it play out. Yep.
Large decisions right this second. Let's see it play out. I still stand by what I told you guys a week or two ago, that today there's a better chance. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but there's a better chance today than there was the morning of October 29th that Kirk Cousins is back with the Vikings. I say that from the standpoint of the price isn't going to be the $40 to $45 million per year. Now, is it possible Atlanta or some other organization still throws Kirk Cousins that enormous money? Yes. Then the Vikings are not going to pay that money. Kirk will move on. I'm just thinking in the moment, with the Achilles injury coming back from that at 36 years old next year, that the price isn't going to be what he thought it would be.
I agreed with you completely on that after he got hurt, Dukes. But as I watch O'Connell watch a mobile QB, and, Kirk's going to be 36 coming off an Achilles, there has to be a temptation to say, oh, my God, the things that we can do. And the other interesting thing, and it's small, but it's big, in my opinion, is this. I think it was Ben Gessling of the Star Tribune asked O'Connell post-game on Sunday, when did you put the direct snap to Ty Chandler in, and Dobbs goes out. And as we discussed on PD yesterday, Dobbs was actually a threat there. Like it's not oh my God, I'm going to go to the sideline and step out of bounds as soon as the ball snapped. And O'Connell said last week, so like he is putting things in his playbook now that he is acknowledging he could not have. And I just got to think that the temptation there, Darren, is so huge to be like, I love Kirk. It's not a personal thing, but look at what I'm doing. And to Phil's point, the mad scientist role grows then. It grows.
Well, I think it can be both, right? I mean, you can still go quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
Somebody who's mobile, like J.J. McCarthy of Michigan, have a succession plan in place, but with the competitive rebuild, the way the Wilfs are thinking, that, okay, the idea is to still be uber competitive in 2024, that Kirk gives you a chance to do that next year. But again, like I don't want aggregators putting it out there, that I'm suggesting it's a done deal. Kirk Cousins, Vikings quarterback in 2024. I am fully acknowledging
aggregators. Make it happen. Make it happen, aggregators.
It's Darren Doogie Wolfson
out of the water. Yeah, there is some team that may blow Cousins
offer
out of
on the table right now.
Aggregators,
aggregators are not going to do that. Yeah.
Hear this right now. I am saying it's my opinion. O'Connell's infatuated with mobility, and therefore Kirk Cousins is on the outs. You can use that. You can use that.
Oh man! Hey, before we dive into a few more scoops here, so Give to the Max Day is this Thursday, and so all week long here at Score North, we are throwing our support behind Secondhand Hounds. All of us here, all three of us, and then Doogie as well. We're all dog lovers, animal lovers. And Secondhand Hounds is a nonprofit animal rescue based in Minnesota that provides safe shelter for our furry friends. So here's what we're doing. We've got the donation page open at scorenorth.com/donate. Thank you. By the way, yesterday you guys pitched in $500 already. So thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Our friends at Nutrisource will be matching up to $1,000 raised. ScoreNorth.com/donate. Secondhand Hounds takes in, and there's a bunch of different ways that dogs can be taken in. It could be that they've been abandoned, that they've been abused. It could be that they're this is so sad, their dog parents passed away, and Secondhand Hounds gets them in veterinary care, daily necessities, all while working to find each of them a permanent loving home, like our dogs have here. So ScoreNorth.com/donate, gentlemen.
Love it. I mean, we've rescued multiple dogs, right? And so, yeah, I'm big on Secondhand Hounds. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. Okay. Unless you have any other Viking stuff, I'm wondering. Steph Curry's questionable, even if he does play Doogie. Okay, Kyle and I we probably jinxed the Wolves on Flagrant Howls yesterday, but you look at the tail of the tape. This current iteration of the Warriors, Steph is still excellent. Everybody else under him is either eroding or old or, not like, I don't know who their second best player is anymore. The Wolves stack up, tail of the tape, clearly better than the Warriors. Doesn't guarantee they're going to win tonight, but it's interesting when you start to look at the Wolves compared to other teams in the West. Dude, I think they're one of the top 3 teams in the West. Forget about record, like just roster and everything, with Anthony Edwards becoming one of the best players in the league. Is that too hot of a take?
I mean, no, it's not too hot of a take. I mean, I think Golden State's second best player is still Klay Thompson. Like, I think he's going to shoot the ball better. Now, if you want to make the case, he's wearing down, he's overcome so many injuries, right? I mean, serious injuries, like Father Time is catching up to Klay. Fine. I can listen to a case like that, but I still think he is going to shoot the ball better as the year goes on. But yes, I mean, if you stack the Wolves roster against the Warriors roster, absolutely. You feel better about the Wolves roster. I mean, frankly, Phil, the Wolves have the best resume, and I get it. We're 1/7 of the way through the season. A long way to go. But so far, the Wolves have the best resume in the league. When you consider wins against Boston, Denver, at Golden State, this
they're top seed
winning streak, they are by far the number 1 defense. There is a fall drop to see what the number 2 defense is, the numbers that the number 2 defense is putting up. Like, the Wolves are that good. They continue to hold teams to below 40% shooting, below 30% shooting from 3. That's because they limit corner 3-point attempts. This is this team's identity, that they defend at an incredibly high level. We are seeing what a difference maker Jaden McDaniels is, right? He didn't play against Toronto. Okay, they lose. Minutes restriction in Atlanta. Okay, they have the horrible second half. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they've won every game. We asked last week, hey, can it continue on the road? They go to San Antonio. I don't think they played all that well on Friday. They found a way to win. Then you win on Sunday. Now they finally have like their first real schedule challenge this week, because tomorrow in Phoenix is the first time all year they will have a rest disadvantage. But it's the only time the
Booker
Wolves,
and Beal are back tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah. It's the only time before like Christmas, or maybe it's even like into early January, that the Wolves have a schedule disadvantage, right? Now it'll catch up January, February, March, where the Wolves will be playing, on a second night of a back-to-back, and the other team didn't play the night before. But right now, the Wolves are taking advantage of a favorable schedule, even though the opponents are tough. So tomorrow, though, is the first real challenge. But hey, the Wolves have built up enough equity to me to split these two, right? Find a way to win either tonight or tomorrow. You can trip up one of these games. You'll still be okay. You keep watching, the Lakers lose games. They're not healthy. The Clippers look like a wreck with James Harden. You keep building up these wins. I'm telling you, it's the pattern that Denver followed last year. Memphis won't have Ja Morant for another few weeks. They've stacked all these losses. I'm just saying, like, Denver was good from opening night on last year. I'm not suggesting the Wolves are winning the championship, but this is the recipe. The Wolves have looked at it. Okay, start strong, and it'll carry all the way through. They need to stay healthy, but if they can stay healthy, I'm just telling you, with a full year of Mike Conley Jr., I'm with you, Phil. The Wolves are a top 3 team in the Western Conference.
Do we think the league is looking at any disciplinary action for that absolute garbage hit that Chris Paul made on Conley? Because
I'm with you, but no.
That's one of the most unnecessary. That's one of the most
and
unnecessary.
He's a dirty player. Yeah.
But I mean, that's
Mike
a
Conley
shot
Jr.
at his
got a foul on
knees.
that play. Conley Jr. got called for a foul on that play. Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, there's a reputation there with Chris Paul, but no, there's no buzz on that front that there's going to be some sort of discipline that Chris Paul won't play tonight or anything like that. No, but I hear you. Dirty player. Dirty play.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Rapid fire scoops here, Doogie. What else do you have in your scoop bag for us?
Well, speaking of the Wolves, they'll have scouting representation tonight in Chicago for the Champions Classic. That's Duke, Michigan State, Kansas, and Kentucky. There's some NBA scouts that have been in town to watch Dawson Garcia. Let me see if I can find the exact team somewhere in my text messages. So on Friday for the game against Texas San Antonio, the Miami Heat were at Williams Arena. Then Thursday night, Gophers against Missouri. The Gophers play a legit opponent on Thursday night, although Missouri lost to Memphis the other day. But these NBA teams will have scouting representation at the Barn on Thursday. Orlando, Brooklyn, Atlanta, and Oklahoma City. Today is the deadline for Sonny Gray of the Twins to make a decision. Well, I guess formally of the Twins, right? Technically, he's a free agent. He's not attached to any team right now. But today is the deadline this afternoon. Does he accept the Twins qualifying offer or does he reject it? He is going to reject it. Today is also the deadline for the Twins to add more guys to the 40-man roster. Austin Martin is a lock, and the stud outfielder Rodriguez is also a lock. So they'll add those two guys. They will get to 38. I've been asked if Aaron Sabato, first-round pick a few years ago, if he will be added to the 40-man. My sense is the answer is no, that there's not really a fear that he's going to get selected in the Rule 5. I suppose there's always the possibility with a former first-round pick, but it doesn't sound like the Twins will be adding Aaron Sabato to the 40-man.
Yeah. Boy, that's a bust. There's a couple
There's a couple
Well,
of them.
Keone
I mean, he still
Cavaco.
had-
He's a Sammy
he still has a
softball too.
chance.
Bust.
Yeah, and it's not like he was a top 5 pick, right? I mean, it was late first round. There's still a chance.
Don't defend him. No, it's a crappy pick.
Dude,
He's
fire
Sammy
everybody.
softball.
Fire everybody.
Samato's Sammy softball. He's gonna just my swing man. I can't help it. Joey Gallo too, and he's not Joey Gallo.
Sabato's going to dominate like a wood bat league out east when he's like 31 years old.
Hell yeah.
Just talking about his time in the big league camps back in the early 2020s. Doogie, great stuff, man. Great
All
stuff.
right, boys. Yeah, but keep an eye. And I don't know if it'll necessarily be the Twins, but there's a lot of trade talk right now. Just with today being that 40-man deadline, you'll see some activity around the game today.
Yeah. There he is, Darren Doogie Wolfson from the 5 Eyewitness News Sports Department, the Scoop Podcast. We will talk to you in a couple days, sir.
Okay, boys. See ya. Bye-bye.
All right. And there wraps a scoop session here. All the Vikings injury and roster news you can eat. We will see you guys over on Purple Daily as well for a deeper dive into the Anthony Barr signing, into Brian Flores' defense, and a Write That Down session tomorrow here.